Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Priyanka, the Indian Tarot Girl, and I'm here to give you divine channel reading about what you need to know at this moment in your life. So this reading, a little bit of a to bring in positivity. So I've been getting a lot of DMs asking me about the psychological blocks that may be there in people's lives, which is hindering their growth. So today I think I'll be going with that reading rather than concentrating on career or love and relationship. That is what I'm going to do today. I'll be looking at some psychological blocks that may be hindering your growth if you're watching this, and we'll dive into the details of it. Okay, so let's get started. So today I'm going to pick 3 cards intuitively. I'm not going to do the same old order of shuffling the cards and letting the cards pop out of the deck. Like I mentioned, it'll be a 3-card pull, an intuitive pull. I'll pull out cards that I feel called to. So this will be the card. The first card will be the card which will tell you the actual psychological block that may be hindering your growth. The second card will be a pattern that you can embody or a path that you can take to relieve yourself from the psychological block. And the third card that I'm pulling now will be what happens when you do that. What does a future without the psychological block of yours look like? What does it look like? Okay, so I hope I've made myself clear. So let's slowly start revealing the cards. Okay, so the psychological block that you have is the King of Wands in reverse. I've never done a reverse in my reading, but today I deliberately want to do it because this is what I was intuitively called to, and I don't want to just make it as a direct card. I want to take it as a reverse card. Okay, so the King of Wands in reverse. What psychological block can this card depict or can this card represent? Before getting into the depth of what King of Wands can represent as a psychological block, what I want to do is first give you insight on what the King of Wands in reverse can actually depict in one's life. So the King of Wands in reverse tells me that a lot of people watching this video may be the type of people who would like or prefer working alone or would prefer operating solo. You are somebody, again, we go back to the drill. What's the drill? This is a general reading meant for the collective. I always have to say this because some people then will put in the comments saying, this just didn't resonate with me. Please understand that this is a general reading meant for a large collective watching this video. If you want a reading specific to your journey, to your experience, to your psychological depth, you're always welcome to book a private reading with me. I will give the details of the same at the end of the video. So coming back to this, you may be somebody who likes to work by yourself, reach a certain point, and then start leading people. You don't like to follow somebody or to follow rules or to obey orders for a specific number of people. So the King of Wands in reverse can tell you that, probably for your scenario, life scenario, this may not really be working in your favor. Your mind might be telling you, don't, be a part of a team, don't work for somebody, don't be dependent when it comes to your work ethics or your work structure. Be independent, do something independent. Be on your own. Even if you have to struggle, just be on your own, be at it, and you'll reach a level where working independently would have worked for you. But I don't see that as a potentially viable venture for the person watching this today for this reading, for this specific reading. That's not like a general statement that I'm making. What this card is basically telling me is, and I also saw a bee now. And what does a bee do? It works in a team, right? Beehive, it works with other bees. It has that working in a team attitude, right? So that was like a confirmation for me. So let's get to the psychological aspect of this card. Why wouldn't somebody want to follow somebody? Wouldn't want to work for somebody? Wouldn't want to work under somebody? Now, before I say anything, what I would want to say is what I will be saying now may trigger your ego. So, this is like a disclaimer. Please continue watching this video only if you have an open mind and would want to figure out what's happening in your life. Okay? So, somewhere with this card in reverse, the King of Wands in reverse, what I see is somewhere you may have knowingly, unknowingly, or subconsciously developed a superiority complex. Now, I'm not getting to whether this is a negative thing or a positive thing. All I'm trying to say, or all I'm trying to do, is quote facts or give insight on what the psychological aspect of the card is, right? So please don't take this personal. See, reflect, introspect if this is what is actually happening in your life. So why wouldn't somebody want to work under somebody? Because there is some sort of psychological superiority complex that would have developed in a person's mind, where they would think that working under somebody would make them feel small or would hurt their ego. They would not be in a position to accept orders, to work under a boss, or whatever it is. So this superiority complex is what the card is trying to depict here, and it's also trying to tell you that it's not working in your favor. So you have to be humble enough to be able to be a part of a group, to be a part of a team, to work as a team, to take advice when it's needed, and to not close off when an advice or something that maybe for your own good is coming your way in the form of an advice or whatever it is, right? So that's the psychological depth or the psychological aspect of King of Wands in reverse. Now let's look at what you need to do or what you need to embody to get out of this psychological block. Okay, so the card that I've got is Hanged Man in reverse. So again, the actual meaning of the Hanged Man in reverse and the psychological aspect afterwards. So the Hanged Man is all about stagnation, being in that limbo mode, things not happening in your favor. All of whatever you're doing is not bringing you the required result, right, or the required outcome. So the Hanged Man in reverse is actually trying to tell you to look at things in a different perspective. From what perspective you've been seeing things, you've been working. If that's not helping you, you need to change that perspective. And the perspective change here that is required is that you cannot consider others as less knowledgeable or less worthy of what their position is, right? Whoever is working with you or whoever is in front of you. So you have to accept, value, and respect the person for the position that they are in their lives. I'm looking at green here with the Hanged Man card, and the color green immediately takes me to the heart chakra. I also feel and sense a block in your heart chakra, a little bit of openness, a little bit of you opening your heart a little more to people can actually help you come out of the psychological block that you may have, and potentially help you understand people more rather than judge them for their position, for their work, for their knowledge, for their existence in general, right? So what happens when you come out of this psychological block? What happens? The last card is for that. Great. Oh my God. Look at that. What did I mention about the heart chakra? And what I got from this is the Three of Swords in reverse. Again, another card in reverse. All three cards have come in reverse. So the Three of Swords is basically disappointment, grief, that inner sorrow, that inner resentment that you may have faced in your life with a loss, with betrayal, with heartbreak. You imagine a whole spectrum of negative emotions that may have been trapped inside you because of all the things that I mentioned or any of the things that I mentioned. So the Three of Swords direct is a depiction of that. But what happens when you embody what I told you, the change of perspective, and break out of that psychological block? You actually heal yourself. There is some inner healing that is also required, is what I feel. This is not just about psychological aspect. This is also about an emotional aspect that is actually correlated with the psychological aspect, and that's what's hindering your growth, my friend. This is not just about you feeling superior when it comes to people, you judging people, and that's why not wanting to work with people. There is also some innate or inner healing that is required, something related to your past that you need to heal in order to start trusting people again, in order to start feeling okay to work with people again, in order to socialize again, for that matter, that's what I feel. So all of this is interrelated, and all of this is circling back to the same thing, that there is some change in perspective that is required, there is some inner healing that is required, that is actually creating this psychological block, and in turn not giving you the growth that you deserve. Even if you're working really well, even if you're working hard, even if you're giving your best, if you're not seeing the result of it, it may not just be the planetary aspects, it may also be some subconscious behavior or pattern of yours that's actually hindering yourself from reaching your goals. So I think this was really necessary for whoever it was meant to. So do this, my friend. I mean, introspect. Please listen to what I said once again, if you need to, and sit and introspect, reflect upon what I said. Was it actually true to your situation, and did it actually resonate with you? And if it did, put in the comments and let me know if it did, because that's when I'll be able to understand that yes, this reading helped somebody. So this is my purpose. This is what I do. I work to uplift people. That's my purpose. So let me know in the comments again if this resonated, and please hit a like, share, and subscribe to my videos. That helps me move along the process and continue what I'm doing. And if you need a personal reading, and if you feel that a reading specific to your situation in your life and whatever aspect of your life is needed, then hit me up. I will give you the link, and I will give you the details of it in the caption too. So yeah, reflect upon this, my friend. I'm sure you'll get some insight for yourself. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.